Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a new bill comes to the floor in the Commonwealth as it aims to protect students from inappropriate conduct by school officials. And Eastern Kentucky is experiencing issues with broken water lines as it recovers from last week's weather.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. We're just a few minutes past 6:30 and halfway through the week on January 24th. Now let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast this morning.
You know, when you said that last week, Olivia, halfway through the week, and we were dealing with a deep freeze, and it seemed like the weekend was so far away, right? What a difference a week can make. Weather-wise, it's mild and, yes, trending wet as we make our way through the next couple of days, next couple of hours, in fact. The pattern will persist into this coming weekend. We'll keep an eye on the option or the opportunity for some thunderstorms tomorrow with another wave of rain the first half of this coming weekend. Temps vary from the mid-30s into the lower 50s. A couple of us, though, higher than that. 54 at Pikeville, 56 at Harlan. The pinpoint Doppler radar showing a few spotty showers, trying to track towards Stanton, getting the action now into Fayette County. Again, along the Ohio River, looping back toward Louisville, and again along 65. This is the action that is tracking toward us as we make our way toward mid-morning. Another wave back behind that initial one toward Memphis. And again, that's the reason why we phrased the forecast today as showers, a few bursts of steadier rain, and a high in Hazard up to 62. We'll talk about how warm the temperatures will be the rest of the week. Your First Alert 7-day forecast in a few moments. Olivia?
Thank you, Tim. Several advocates of House Bill 275 spoke before the House Education Committee yesterday. The bill aims to protect children and students from inappropriate conduct by school officials. The bill would also require school districts to fully investigate instances of teacher abuse. A student at the University of Kentucky shared her story with committee members about the grooming and unwanted relationship she had with a teacher in high school.
It wasn't until talking with my college friends that I began to fully understand the gravity of my experience and the betrayal of an individual I trusted.
The bill also requires the Department of Education to provide training to teachers by 2025 about what is inappropriate behavior and how to spot warning signs. Also yesterday in Frankfort, the House Education Committee passed a bill that would require a moment of silence in classrooms at the start of each school day. It would last 1 to 2 minutes and students would decide how to use that time without input from teachers. The bill's sponsor says it would help students by giving them time to decompress before getting the day started. Opponents say it is too close to requiring prayer time during school. It now advances to the full House. A man is dead after he was found under a bridge in Pike County during the recent Arctic temperatures. Last week, the Pikeville Police Department received word from the Kingsport, Tennessee Police Department about looking out for David O'Donnell. Officers with Pikeville PD had looked for O'Donnell on January 10th in the Cassidy Boulevard area, but could not find him. Officers later found O'Donnell dead under the Cassidy Boulevard Bridge, an area where homeless people frequently stay. Officials say no foul play is suspected. A Pulaski County man is behind bars after police say he was in a place he should not have been. It happened last Saturday when 32-year-old Jesse Burke of Braunston reportedly entered a home through a broken window. Deputies noticed parts of the home had been left in disarray. Deputies later obtained a warrant for Burke, which led to his arrest. He faces multiple charges and was taken to the Pulaski County Detention Center. With heavy rain set to roll across the Commonwealth, emergency response crews have their eye on the skies this week. Jeremy Toms spoke to Wolfe County Search and Rescue about the potential for high water in eastern Kentucky.
Kentucky's mountain communities are still thawing out from a week's worth of extreme winter weather. But Wolfe County Search and Rescue is already preparing for heavy rain to move in.
You know, up in that neighborhood of 8 to 10 inches of snow that was on the ground already. And then if you put some rain on top of that, you know, you can certainly get in a situation where, you know, rivers and small streams can start to rise.
Chief John May says adding up all that precipitation could quickly make for an unwanted outcome.
You know, it's not like you have a lot of time to plan for it. You know, you may just get a phone call in the middle of the night like we did back in 2022.
Eastern Kentucky continues to build back from the events of 2021 and 2022, both of which weigh heavily on the minds of May and his neighbors.
I've got a friend that works in Breathitt County, and she was telling me this week that a lot of people have mentioned to her that they're pretty nervous, you know, about the potential for flooding.
May says you shouldn't let those nerves consume you, but it will be helpful to stay weather aware throughout this week.
And keep an eye on those creeks and streams that they may live next to. And if they start to see those, you know, getting elevated or starting to come out of the banks, then they should take action.
Jeremy Toms, WKYT.
May says his swift water rescue teams are ready to take action themselves if needed. They spent the weekend inspecting their boats and life-saving gear ahead of the incoming rain. Several people in and around Bledsoe in Harlan County are without water. Some community members say they have been without water for weeks. They get water from the Black Mountain Utility District, which says the water issue started after a power outage. Harlan County Magistrate Paul Caldwell says they are working hard to get water back into homes.
As of right now, they are pumping the water up Pine Mountain. We had an issue at Baxter, and they couldn't fill the tanks up here on Pine Mountain. And then when they get it filled, they'll fill the tanks on Bigelow. And then when we get that tank filled, it'll start flowing on out toward 221.
Caldwell said early yesterday afternoon that he hopes the water is back on within 24 hours. And as the city of Hazard continues to deal with water system issues, Mayor Happy Mobilini says the community has to do their part to keep water in the system. He says the city will notify the community if they are going to shut your water off. And recent social media posts have been the reason some water tanks are depleted.
We'll announce if we're cutting your water off. People get on here on these Facebook pages, or they'll call and say, is the city cutting off water? The only time we cut off water is if we have to valve it off to stop a leak. We'll notify people if we're going to cut their water off. Now, if you fill up your bathtubs and the tanks run dry, you cut your own water off. We didn't do that, but it takes a while to get the water back on.
For those that have water, there is a system-wide boil water advisory in place. The city and county will be providing water distribution locations, and the Hazard Pavilion is open each day for people to take a shower. In West Virginia, the town of Wayne is under a boil water advisory affecting nearly 2,500 customers. The precaution advisory was issued as crews have been working to find a leak. Danny Grace, who is the mayor of the town, says it has been a challenge because the reports have not been isolated to a single area.
Our issue is we have a major leak that we can't find, and our tanks are, we can't sustain good levels in our storage tanks.
Grace says there are a few things customers need to look out for, such as water surfacing, low pressure, and of course, no water.
And a good Wednesday morning to you. Mild across the region. Some of us still lagging behind, like as you make your way toward Manchester and then down to Jacksboro. It's a 33 at Grundy, 38 at Ashland. Otherwise, the milder air continues to stream in from the west and the southwest. And the pinpoint Doppler radar right now, as you make your way toward Powell County. Yeah, a few showers are coming in towards Stanton. Otherwise, again, the bulk of the action from Fayette County to the north, up along the Ohio River into southern Ohio, southern Indiana. Changing radar sites. It's beyond 65, getting into Campbellsville here as we head toward the top of the hour. As we broaden the view out, you notice one surge of rain back through here another one back through here. So we're going to end up dealing with showers and periods, or rephrase that, strike it. Showers, a few bursts of rain. It's not a washout, and I want to make sure I emphasize that. Forecast highs today, upper 50s into the lower 60s. We are going to continue to see this wet and mild pattern, but for how long? Your First Alert 7-day forecast is coming up in a few moments. Olivia?
Thanks, Tim, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:42. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. Unrest in the Middle East as U.S.-led strikes aim to stop Houthi attacks on shipping vessels.